I'm really excited to share this workflow that I've started with the free Camtasia app. So in this video, I'll show you how I use the Camtasia app, why I use it, and we'll go into Camtasia. So for those of you that have Camtasia, or if you are interested in working with a freelancer like me, then you can actually see what I do inside of Camtasia. So to start off with, the free app is amazing. It's like really cool. What you do is you go to the website and you can create a screencast. When you think of like your screencast, think of like how you're recording your screen, or maybe it's recording a video of you talking. So when you do those things, what you're able to do is record everything, but what I get is layers. And we'll get into this, but I get a layer of the video feed, a layer of the audio, a layer of the screen, a layer of the audio that the screen might be having, and then a layer for I so all of those things are different layers. And now when I get all of these layers, I can use Camtasia to basically clean it all up and make it look presentable. Or what I might be doing is just trying to understand like a vision or workflow that you have. So if you're showing like how to click certain spots or go certain places, this is a great way for you to just dive in, show me what you are doing, and then I can turn around and use that to recreate the scene. And because we have the native screen recording at the high res versus an MP4, so if you use something like Loom or some other type of screen recording function, then we don't have all those assets available. So those layers aren't available and we're not able to kind of clean it up. So we have to really recreate it from scratch. So this makes it a lot faster. If you wanted more people on a team to join the project, let's say you're presenting something and you want some like a SME to present something as well, then you can create a project. And inside that project, everybody can kind of do their screen recordings and have all of the source files in one spot. So when we export it, and I'll go through this in a second, when we export it, what's going to happen is I'll be able to add all of the different sections into a Camtasia file. So let's dive in. We'll just create a new project. This is under an account. So you got to create an account when you first log in, but that's pretty simple. So, and again, it's free. So this is what it looks like inside the project when we create a new project. So let's name this LinkedIn demo for free. Perfect. So that's the name. So now we have a scene. So in this scene, we can have multiple scenes. And one of the big reasons why you probably want to have multiple scenes is because the free app is recording all of this, you only have like 5 minutes per scene. So your time will run out if you're doing like a half an hour project. So you would just create sequential scenes in there. And then you can delete a scene if you need to redo it. But let's go over what's happening here. So you start off by, do you just want to do a screen recording? Or do you just want to do a camera? And like I do a lot of these where somebody's just talking, right? And they're just going to be narrating. And what I'm going to be doing is cleaning up that narration, maybe removing all the ums and ahs, maybe zooming in a little bit more. We've got a really high res camera and good lighting, so I might want to do some color correction. If it's on a green screen, I can remove the green screen from there, and then we can do all sorts of different things. So there's a lot of reasons why you would just want to record the camera and not the screen, or you can record your screen and your camera. And that's the option I'm going to choose for this demo. I'm going to click this, and the next thing that happens is you have the Chrome tab, whatever tab that you want to share, or which window do you want to share, or the entire screen. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record on top of what I'm doing right here. So I'm going to choose screen 3, and that'll be what I'm recording. Here's one of the, not really a stumbling point, but it's with a few people that I've worked with so far on this, this seems to be like the big hiccup. So the screen will record, but we also need to share the audio. So if you don't toggle this on from here, and I'm not going to toggle it on from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click share, and you'll see that this is going to load, and of course it worked. It's because I just went through this before. So I'm going to turn these off and show you how this works. So I'm going to reload the page, and let's start this over. So from here, I'll click this one. I'll do entire screen. I'll choose this, keep this off. And now we get this pop-up, right? But the pop-ups disappear. But I've heard there's no, I don't have my microphone. These aren't recording. It's just recording my screen. So when you're in this, if you click on this button and you click here, like nothing happens. And that's by default. Like that's how it's supposed to work. What you do is you come up to this part of the browser and you click on this, and then you turn each one of these on. Now there's sub settings to allow it on every visit, and I'm not sure, your browser may look a little different than that, but that's the same as the microphone. So I keep that on. But it all depends on your browser setting. This works really well inside of Chrome, so that's what I would recommend. So I click off from here, and now I have to reload. So now I'm here, and I'm going to do this again. So now you're set up. So now you see like it's recording from the camera. You can see yourself there. There are all these different layout options that you can choose. And really, for me, like my perception of this is just, it kind of all depends on the client and what the client needs and what the client wants to do. So some people are very creative, and they might see this and they say, oh, I like this layout. That's perfect. If you like a layout, then we're really jumping way ahead of the game. So it's something that I'm not going to have to design or configure inside of Camtasia. I'll show you how I do that in a second. But if you want to look through these and you say, boy, this would be perfect for my presentation. I love this. This is how I want to do the screencast. So see how this is all being animated and I'm big right here? This might be a good one. This could be a good one. There's all sorts of great layouts here. So you can go through and choose the layout that you like. And then basically, because our microphone's on, and you want to make sure you're choosing the right microphone and the right camera. So I'm doing that. The screen is on, and I'm going to click on Start Recording. While I'm doing this, I'm going to open up my PowerPoint presentation. I just have a template. So because it's recording over this screen, see what's happening here? But I'm going to start my PowerPoint presentation, and it's recording right now. So see how this could be on a different screen, right? This part right here, it could definitely be on a different screen so that you can see what's going on. And when this is on a different screen, it's hard to show here, but when you move your mouse over things, you'll see it faded in the background, but you'll see your video there. So I'm just going to minimize this, and here's the PowerPoint presentation. So imagine talking through this, and I've got my mouse all over the place. I'm pointing at things and I'm moving through. The great thing is I have the PowerPoint presenter on this main screen. So I can be recording on this left screen and looking at my notes to make sure that I'm covering everything that I'm supposed to be talking about. and then I'm going through it, and I'm talking, and I'm talking, and as I go through, like the animation's all happening, and I'm done. So now that I'm done with the PowerPoint, I can close it out. And now we're back here. And now that I closed out that PowerPoint, this is here. So I'm going to stop this. And now we have the video right here that I just recorded. So this is recording over my screencast, and I can scrub through it and see what's going on. And it really doesn't start until about here. So imagine that's where it starts, right? You can click on this trim button and move it to where it starts. Now, as the person that's doing the recording, right? In my case, it's mostly the clients. You can trim the beginning and the end. And what I see a lot of people do is they kind of jump forward to do something, they're looking away, or they're doing something, they're trying to close it. So what that allows us to do is kind of clean up that beginning and end part. So we'll click done, and then I get to the end, and this is the end of the video. So now we have a very clean beginning and end of the presentation. So I took that 2-minute recording. It's now only 33 seconds long. So that really helped me to just work with the assets that are in that clip. So now we're here. You've created this first section. We can do another one for different presentations, or maybe you do slide 1 through 5 and you realize you're at that 5-minute mark, so you stop, and then you do another scene and you re-record slide 5 because maybe you cut it in half or whatever, and so you re-record 5 through 10, and then you keep doing that process. So these will keep adding through here. Then if you wanted to, you could invite somebody to this scene just to review the accuracy or how you performed on like this one section, and you can do that by simply inviting them to this scene. So when we have another scene here, you can invite somebody to that scene. So that's like an individual contributor that's going to be reviewing a specific scene inside of your project. But for a lot of times, what you want to do is invite people to join the entire project. And there's different reasons why you would do different things. So I can imagine like us working with like a subject matter expert, just let them review the one scene to make sure that it's accurate. And they don't need to see all the other stuff because that's a bunch of noise. But for a freelancer or stakeholders or somebody who's reviewing the project, that's a collaborator. So that's somebody who's going to come in and see the entire project. So you just add their email, scene access only or project access, and then you send it out to them. So now that we have this, let's export this out into Camtasia. And I'm going to click export, and I can do the screencast. I have a video on how much I love screencast, but that's the option that's going to allow us to export this in this format to Camtasia, and that's where I take over. So if I'm a collaborator to this project, then what I'll do is I will look at the assets, we'll talk about it, and if you really like this layout, we're good to go. But as you can see, like right from this scene alone, you can see like I'm covering up some of it. So there might be times where we want to move these things depending on what's going on in the screen. All right. So now this is what I see inside of Camtasia when I import it. So this is me inside of Camtasia. I can come over here and not do the marker, but I can ungroup this. So now that this is ungrouped, I have access to everything. I can separate the audio from the video. If I wanted to move this over here, we could move it over there. We can go over to masking and throw a mask over this. So now I've got the circle on me. So we can do it like that. Or if we wanted to change it to a rectangle and then add some corner on that. So now as I zoom in, you can see that that's looking pretty good. And here's the background. And if we wanted to change the background to something else, we could absolutely change the background to something else. We can move the video. So maybe it's there. This is here. So there's all sorts of different things that we have access to. I thought we had access to the cursor, but I guess we don't have access to the cursor right now. I'm sure that's coming to be able to do that. But this is something where I just really like this feature. This is a great way for me to now go through the course and be like, all right, so at this point, if I wanted to start with... So imagine talking through this, and I've got my mouse all over the place. I'm pointing at things, and I'm moving through. The great thing is I have... So that actually sounded really good. But just my mic or just my luck, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but it sounded really good. Normally I hear like the hum of the fan or room sound, and by choosing this noise removal, it comes out much better. And I've got my mouse all over the place. I'm pointing at things and I'm moving through. The great thing is I have the PowerPoint presenter. Yeah, I can hear a little difference, but trust me, like this is a really neat feature. So that's a cool thing to kind of do. And then we can do all sorts of things. So like I can come up here, bring everything into Audiate. So with Audiate, we're allowed to look at the words and make sure that the captions are going to be correct, or remove all the ums and ahs and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that we can do once I have the ability to move things around, because sometimes you might not even want to be on the screen. And so it looks like that. So it would go from here. I've got my mouse all over the place. I'm pointing at things and I'm moving through. The great thing is I have the power. So that works out really well too. So you have like, you're on the screen sometimes and sometimes not. I don't want to belabor the point. I just wanted to share how this works and why I like this so much, because this is a really cool process. And I think that others who work with clients, or if you're working with me directly, like this allows us to do a lot. And your part is just recording your presentation or your screen and then sending it to me so that I can upload it, and it doesn't cost you anything. So just wanted to share that. Love your feedback and your thoughts about this.